Hello, is this thing on? Do I know how to do this?
Oh,
Where's your mic?
it's right
There we
here.
go.
It's not even plugged in.
Hello. Hello. Welcome to the Bone Zone. This is the comic book Bone Zone. I'm Champ Champenstein. This is number 29.
Yes, I'm Heather Hadfield. This is number 29.
29. Nine times. We've been, inconsistent, but if anything, that's the nature got in the way.
Yes, that's what we're
Little,
going to call it.
little Gambit got in the way of our recording, but that's fine. Gambit is here. He has
Who would
exited
have
the
thought that
womb.
like a baby needs a parent, you know?
Not
Like
us.
I have to like give up my entire life for this baby.
Like with parents like ours.
I would have never guessed. I had to ask Sammy earlier. I was like, "Do you remember mom ever playing with you?" And she said, "Nope, no way." Okay, good, because I don't remember that either. And I didn't know if it was just because I'm older. Our mother did not play with us. We don't know how to be moms, and now we're both moms. So
this is a great welcome back to the Bone Zone in pure ranting fashion.
yes, welcome to our trauma. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we're here to talk about our weekly books. We're gonna try to do it on a more weekly basis again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Heather, do you want to start us off? We don't have a lot, so you know.
Yeah, I will. I'll start.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
Okay. So I would like to say you should know if you've listened, if you've been a fan of the show for a while, I ruin all my books. Not on purpose, it just kind of happens. This one has water damage, which thankfully I don't mind too much. This is Marvel Zombies. This is issue number 4. That was my segue. Um, this is Black, White, and Blood. Each one of these issues has 3 stories in them about different characters in the Marvel Universe dealing with the zombies. The first story is about Blade. Um, Hold on. Second story was a Punisher. And then the last one, I can never remember how to say his name. K Kazar.
Yeah, I know who you're speaking of, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
Kazar. And it's
Cause
crazy. Yeah, Kazaa. Um,
okay.
I know the least about this character, and I liked this story the most. And I don't know if it was because of the art, and because the art in this one was just so good. I can't even like, especially compared to the other two. Like, not that the other two were bad at all, but I just think that the art in this one was
Yeah.
super
Who does the art and the story in that?
good. Let's see. So the first one, the Blade one, is called Strange Ass Bedfellows, and it's Steve Scrouse and who's writes and does the art apparently, and then Brian
Yeah.
Reber does the colors.
Okay.
Last Man Standing is the second one. That is the Punisher one. Stephanie Phillips writes it, and
Okay.
Danny Ortiz does the art. Um, Shauna of the Dead. That's incredible. That's a really good title.
Yeah, that is a really good title.
Shauna of the Dead is the last one. Mary San Giovanni writes it. Stefano Landini is the artist, and then Espen Grundentjern is the color artist, and then Martin Biro is the editor.
Hmm.
So
Interesting.
yeah. And I had asked you like how many issues. It's usually 4, so this is
I think
potentially
yeah,
the
that's
last
done.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, it's just if you've read any of these Black, White, and Blood stories, they're just short little anthologies, and this one was fine. I wasn't able to talk about number 3 because that was when we weren't recording for a moment. But the first story and the third one was Peach Momoko, and
Oh
I
yeah.
yeah, I told Christopher, I was like, that story was so cute. And I like opened up to a page, and it's just Momoko drawing this like zombie just destroying this character, blood everywhere and stuff. And he was like, this is cute to you. And I was like, no, like the character, like the main character, she's cute.
Yeah, I just looked it up on Penguin to see if there was a number 5, but yeah, there's only number 4. So
Okay. And that is fine with me. I had a good time with them. It was everything that I expected from it. It wasn't anything more or anything less. So
Yeah.
Just
No.
cute little zombie series.
Like you know what you're getting out of those sorts of things.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well I have three books, so I guess strap in. Um I have first Mike's in my way. I don't know how to do this anymore. Uh
Where's
Pine
she at?
and Hey, Pine and Merrimack. This is a new book written by Kyle Starks. Fran Galan does the art or the illustration, and then it's lettered by Pat Brusso. So this is just a detective story. It's about a wife detective and her husband who's basically just like he's an ex-boxer, so he's her muscle. And in her past, her sister went missing or was murdered. Sorry, went missing and came back murdered. And so she's like, I became a cop and then I hated murder. So then I became a detective and mainly did like no missing persons cases. Then a case comes across her lap that's exactly like when her sister went missing. So,
Did you enjoy it? Because I had considered like picking up that first issue.
I did like it. I wouldn't say it was like something that like hooked me in a way where I'm like, yeah, I need the
Hmm.
second issue. I'm getting the second issue because I like Hal Starks. And I will write out the story. Like it makes sense. I like him. I think he's a good creator. So I think it'll be a satisfying and like satisfying story overall. Um, but also, I like detective stories. So even if it does have that like kind of the hook that's most detective stories like that kind of have where it's like something draws them back into a case that there's that one case.
Hmm.
So yeah, the art's really good. See if I can find a
Oh yeah, that looks really good. I like that.
yes, kind of has like the coloring is really interesting with the lightness and oddly
Hmm.
reminds me of kind of like I don't know like the animation and like 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah, I was gonna say it does kind of look like a Disney movie.
Yeah, so get me back in focus, please. There we go. Yeah, so I don't know. It was interesting. It was a good read. That's all I can say about it for right now. Just like
Okay.
that number one issue, met the characters, got their backstory, got a little bit of the like what's happening.
Hmm.
Okay, so the next I have Mortal Terror. This is issue number 2. I was just talking to Heather about this before we recorded because I thought she got this because it's a very Heather book.
Yeah.
I did not get to talk about number 1 because we were also on that hiatus, but it is basically like a reverse Dracula story where all of the humans in Dracula are vampires and the vampires are humans. Like Renfield is a vampire who wants to be human.
Oh, I like that twist.
So yeah, it's like I when I read the first issue, I wasn't sure because I'm also there's a odd amount of Dracula books out right
Hmm. But like a surprising amount. Yeah.
now. Yeah, like it's just why I don't understand what's happening right now. So it was like I think that was like buffering my feelings for it, but I like the twist. I think that's interesting. So
Hmm.
I'm down for it. It's by Christopher Golden and Tim Levin
Oh,
and
Tim Levin.
like Lebbon.
Yeah, the author Tim Levin. He
Yes.
wrote one of my favorite books ever, Relic. That's incredible. I love him.
Okay, so this is weird that you missed this book. I will make sure
Yeah,
you get it.
that is so weird.
But yeah, the art, sorry, that was distracting. And the art's by Peter Bergting. And oh, Chris O'Halloran does the colors. Those colors are really good. I was wondering. Um, well, that was something I really enjoyed about this book were the colors in it. I'm trying to find a good page, but yeah, there's
Yeah, I like
the
that.
art. It's very like, Hellboy-esque.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's good. It's only 2 issues in, and I've really enjoyed it. That's really funny. I will never get over what just happened.
I do have to say, because this is one of my biggest gripes about when this movie came out. So Tim Levin wrote this book called The Silence, which
Okay.
they did make a movie about, and it follows like a family, and the one of the girls is deaf. Okay.
Okay.
They have to be completely silent because there are these bats that were found in a cave that will just kill you if they hear noise. So I read that book, and then like 6 months later, A Quiet Place came out. I was so mad about that because I read about that and I was like, wait a minute, that sounds just like The Silence, which was written like 5 years ago. So I'm convinced that John Krasinski read that book and was like, I'm just going to pick pieces of this and write my own story. And then the movie, The Silence, that they made came out, and it had Kiernan Shipka in it.
Oh yeah.
It came out and it was not as well received because they said that it was copying A Quiet Place. That was part of the reason why I would not watch A Quiet Place for a very long time. I was very bitter about that because the book
It,
is incredible.
it's fine. And The Quiet Place isn't that great of a movie anyway.
No, it's not. And the only reason the second one was worth watching is because of Cillian Murphy.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, everybody should watch anything with Cillian Murphy in.
Yeah, absolutely. We love
Who
him.
say, well, who cares what it is?
Yeah. I
Still
watched
mad.
it like 7 times.
Red Eye is good.
It is. I said that as if it was like a bad movie, and it's not. I'm just saying I watched that movie like 7 times. And
It's
28 Days Later is still my favorite movie ever.
oh yeah, no. 28 Days Later is was one of my first like I guess like kind of realized like zombie films that I'd ever seen. So that movie, yeah, like had some weird impact on me. And then yeah, I just watched Red Eye like this last Halloween season
Oh,
because I was
really?
like, yeah, it was the first time ever because everybody was talking about how cunty Cillian Murphy is in it, and I was like, I
Yeah.
gotta I gotta see. And then I was like, oh yeah, this is a terrible, yeah, terrible great movie.
And I only watched it originally because it was like obviously came out after 28 Days Later. And like when that movie first came out, I was like obsessed with it. Not even just him, but just the movie in general. And so I was like trying to watch as much as I could with him in it because I was like, is he as good in every other movie as he is in that fucking movie?
Hmm.
Yes. The answer is yes. But I watched that movie and I was like, okay, I love this, and kept watching it.
Yeah, no, it's fair. I get it. Okay, that's Mortal Terror. That is a reverse Dracula story written by one of Heather's favorite authors,
Yeah.
or
And
co-written by one of Heather's favorite authors.
I had no idea it was out.
And then the next book I have is Once in Future. This is issue number 11.
Wait, you said Once in Future.
Oh god damn it. I wish it was that book too. God,
I miss
Once
that
Upon a
so much. We're back, baby.
Okay, so scratch that. It's not Once in Future. I read that. It's over, sadly. And if you haven't read it, you definitely should. This is Once Upon a Time at the End of the World. That's what this book's called. I've talked about this book a few times. This is by Jason Aaron. And this story arc, Nick Dragata does the art. But the cool thing about like the story arcs, they've all had different artists, but like they've done this really cool thing where they like flashback or like flashback to like show the old artist and then change into
Mhm.
the new artist. So that's been like a really interesting thing I've really liked. And they do that in this one, but they use like both of the past artists. So that was fun. I really like that.
That's
Uh
cool.
hey, I really like this story a lot. I think it's really good.
Yeah.
I think it's a really, really interesting love story. I think it's a really interesting like idea of a battle of wills. I don't know. I don't want to like talk about it too much because I think I feel really, really think it's worth reading. And I really like at the end, when I first read that first issue and you first meet Maseo and Mezzi, like they feel like characters that have, you've met many times before. And they kind of
Mhm.
just seemed like kind of one note. And I feel like throughout like all of the story arcs, you've they've just become so well developed. They're just such good characters. And I don't know. This story's just been really good. Like the last story arc, the way it ended was like really heart wrenching. It was a huge bummer. because they had kind of built this utopia and then like watching it like kind of all crumble and then like see them. But you know, like you want to see them get to this point because in the beginning you start out with like knowing that they're kind of like fighting against each other. Um, but it's interesting when you get to this moment where they like see each other again after like all of these years. It's a good fucking book.
Okay.
It's probably
Very
like
good.
my favorite Jason Aaron book that I've read.
High
So
praise.
yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting.
All right. Well, we'll talk about the next book that I guess we both technically have, but
Yeah.
I'm the only one that read it. This is Batman. This is 141. I won't go into too much detail because it's near the end of this story arc, but it's Batman still fighting with what the fuck is the name of?
Zurin R,
Yeah, there's that, but it's
the failsafe robot.
yeah, fail safe. Dealing with that whole situation still and then fighting internally with Zur. And I
This
mean,
is what happened. We already did this, right?
yeah, it's like it's weird now because Joker's a part of it and
Mm-hmm.
it has the the thief from that series The Night that we read, like his origin story who
Okay.
he
Okay.
trained with.
Yeah, I love that
She's
kid.
in here because she finds
Oh,
Nightwing
it's
and she's like, hey, something's really wrong with him. I don't want to help, but like I figured you guys might want to,
do
which
they
I thought
still
was
all hate him right now?
no. I mean, at least Nightwing doesn't because he's trying to help, but it's like hard, you know?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
It's hard to explain because if you haven't been like reading it, then it just doesn't make any sense. But it's a lot of him, Batman fighting internally with whatever is going on.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I haven't I didn't like the last few issues, so I just haven't liked it very much.
I feel like at this point, like I enjoy it to an extent, but I'm kind of forcing myself to read it. And I'm not reading the back half of the stories either because I skipped the first part of it. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't realize it, and I just don't want to go back and read it.
That's fair. I get it.
It's a lot, yeah. So I'm just reading like the main story and then moving on.
You know, I guess, yeah. Can't like can't like them all
Yeah,
sometimes.
it's
Yeah.
true.
Okay, so then another book we both have but don't have. Because Heather may have dropped it. Did drop it.
I did drop it, but I was supposed to get that issue, but I don't remember if I did or not.
Okay, so this is Poison Ivy. This is number 18. Um, so the last issue ended with basically her mushrooms infecting all of a swamp and zombie-like people like coming. This issue, she needs to like figure out a way to mass produce a like antidote to save all of these people she's infected accidentally. So she has to ask Batman for help. And Batman's like, you're kind of always fucking up.
He's such a dick.
That's like how that like whole yeah, it basically go that conversation goes like that. And then she like gives birth to that what's his name? That fucking bad guy from the last story arc, Jason Woodrow. It's like
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like,
or like
who?
the last one of the last or like from the
Yes.
beginning from a while ago.
Yes,
Yeah,
I remember.
it was weird, but I don't know. I still really like it.
Yeah. I did drop it not because I didn't like it or anything, but I feel like it's gotten to a point where I'm like I kind of got what I wanted out of
Oh
it.
yeah, that's fair.
Like each I do enjoy each issue and I do have a good time with it, but it's just like, you know, I don't know how
Yeah,
to explain it, but you get
oh
it.
yeah, kind of get to the point now.
Yeah, yeah, because I that first story arc was so good and like so compelling, and then it just kept going, which was fine because it was good and I did want more, but now it just like keeps going.
I gotcha. I get it.
But that's all. But okay, I'll talk
Yeah,
about my next one. I have to hold it this way first so I can get the whole title because it's long as fuck. Critical Role: The Tales of Exandria. This is part two, Art Again. Um, I'm not going to talk too much about this because it's hard to explain if you do not listen to Critical Role, which I
Mhm.
think is the failure with this particular like story arc.
Okay.
Argan is a character within the listening that is also known as the traveler. And if you do not listen to this, he is kind of a character that is like so deep within it that it's hard to understand what his story arc is about.
Okay.
And what I really like about Critical Role, these stories normally, is you don't really need to know the characters and stuff previously, or like what has been happening in the episodes and stuff. Like you can just kind of grab one of their books, and they're very like reader friendly. You can just
Hmm.
jump in and read it, and like you have a cute little fantasy story and then it's done. But this one is done in such a way that, like, again, if you aren't listening to it or you don't know about like the lore of this world like previously, then it's really hard to get into.
Yeah.
So I think that is where this one fails, where all of the other ones succeed.
Okay.
And that's all I'm going to say about it. I did enjoy it, but I also know who the traveler is, and I did like the art a lot in it.
Okay. Yeah. I suppose that helps, like having that, like, yeah, familiarity.
Yeah, and I think it does also help that Matthew Mercer writes a lot of these with the help of like writers and stuff. Like he has a lot of input in it. So again, if you've listened to it, like this all makes sense.
Hmm.
It's because he is the one who has created this like world and stuff. So it's fine.
Okay, so then next for me, I have a couple books. I have Shazam. This is issue number 7. Shazam versus Black Adam. It's just I don't really have to tell you about it. Some silly stuff happens. There's more space dinosaurs. There's there's
Damn
more space dinosaurs in the book, which basically cause chaos and cause like Black Adam to be mad and have him fight Shazam.
All right, I think we all want to do that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Dan Mora does not do the art in this issue, which is always a sad time when he has to go on his like breaks from a book, but I get it.
Yeah, the man needs to rest.
Yeah, it's fine. Let him take a break. And if he took a break from like main title like DC shit for a while and went back to indie books, that'd be so cool.
What if we did a once and future part two?
Yeah, like it's fine. Like I love Batman
Mhm.
Superman, World's Finest. Love the Shazam book. But yeah,
Everything that he does is brilliant, but it would just be cool.
yeah, I would love it.
Yeah.
So then after that, Shazam's great. I definitely suggest that to a lot of people. I sell that book all the time because I love it. The dinosaurs really sell themselves, honestly. You get into that second issue, you see that man in the top hat, and you're like, yeah, fuck it. Who cares?
There
I'll
he
read
is.
this. And he hangs out and becomes like the butler too. Um,
Love that.
yeah. So I have Birds of Prey. This is issue number 5. This is by Kelly Thompson. And then who does the art in this book? This art is by somebody else. Um, Deyn. Never
Okay.
really never seen their stuff before. Anyway, um, lots of stuff have happened. This book is really good. I really, really like it. This issue was a different art style because it was like told from somebody like the perspective of the person they're fighting or the entity
Okay.
they're fighting. Um,
It looks like Bratz dolls.
yeah, it took a minute for it to like really kind of looks like J. Scott Campbell stuff too, a little bit, like
Yeah.
the noses.
No,
Um,
Code Lyoko. That's what I was thinking of. I
I
don't know
don't
if you
know.
know Code Lyoko. I only know
Mm-mm.
it because Sammy and Mickey used to watch it when they were little.
What's it called?
Code Lyoko.
Oh,
Lyoko.
there, yep. French animated series. Oh yeah, no, totally. I can see that. Um, I think the first page is probably like the. Oh, is it gonna
It
focus?
does
Yeah.
look good. I do like it.
Yeah, as I said, it took a minute for it to like settle on me where I like enjoyed it. Yeah, I really like this book. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's like a really, I don't know, I like Barta.
Yeah, of course.
It's
That's
like
a given. We know that.
I like Barta. She's my favorite. I like her relationship with Batgirl a lot. I think it's really interesting, like the way they like team them together and like Barta
Hmm.
kind of takes care of her and calls her like little bat and stuff. And I don't know, just
That is
really,
cute.
really like it. Yeah, just had a lot of fun with that book. That's all I gotta say. It's a fun book. Good stuff. Good stuff.
All right. Next,
Yes.
we both have The Oddly Pedestrian Life of Christopher Chaos.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I only knew because I like had it flipped this way. This is issue number 6. This is a Tynan and Bromble and Isaac Goodhart book. Colors by Miguel Muerto and letters by Aditya Bidikar. So the regular old team doing this.
Yeah, people
It's
we
been
all
a while.
know. I don't know. I This book really warmed up to me. I feel like this issue especially, I was like, oh yeah, I really like this book. I really liked Christopher's like, I guess, kind of monologue at the end and like his realizations about stuff
Mm-hmm.
and just having like everybody Dracula Boy being less abrasive and annoying in general.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they were a real big issue for me, like in the beginning, which I think is why it took me so long to like get into it.
Hmm.
Um, I do like um, Frankenstein.
Adam Frankenstein.
Yeah, I like Adam Frankenstein a lot, and I like the whole their version in this here of like good versus evil, like humans versus monsters and stuff like that. I do think it's a very interesting take, and the
Yeah.
art is really good.
The art is really good. I like I said, I just really liked like I'm really interested now to see like where the story goes after this. Like what happens with like this whole Hell's Wing thing and like who the
Mhm.
fuck is this lady?
Yeah, the hot lady that just walks up in the end.
Yeah, I was like, who are you? Like what is happening?
Yep.
Um, I'm really excited about this like little side story about Adam Frankenstein and like that cover dude.
Yeah, that is something
Like
that I was super excited about too, because I, for some reason, thought that this was going to be the last issue.
mhm.
And it says to be continued, which is fine. I'm okay with it. But then, yeah, I saw that cover and was like, oh, this is incredible. I'm
Yeah, I
so
was like,
excited for it.
yeah, it's like, holy shit. You know, what the fuck? Yeah, I do feel like it just has really good like Archie horror vibes. It's like a fairly like you kind of know what it's saying from the beginning, but I still like the message behind it,
Mm-hmm.
how it gets there.
It's good. And we're waiting for more.
Yes. Okay. We only got a couple more.
Mm-hmm. This is Love Everlasting. This is issue number 11. It's called Just West of Love. This is part 1. I'm pretty sure this is the last story arc, right?
Yeah, I'm fairly certain it is. I think there's only like a few issues left. I can't remember.
I feel like it has 15. Like I want to say there's 15 issues.
Let's see if we can look it up. You talk about it.
Okay. So we know the story of Love Everlasting. It's just different stories of Joan and her love life. There's obviously more to it than that, but she keeps getting hunted and stuff by a sheriff. And in this issue, which is the beginning of this story arc, we get kind of the origin of like the sheriff and how that whole story starts, which is super exciting because this whole time you see him in random issues and it's like, why is he there? And now we get the story. We're finally getting it.
Yeah, that was like my favorite part was like finally seeing like his backstory and like what was like
It didn't even
happening.
register to me that that's what was going on until like the last page. And then I was like, oh, Like I read that entire issue just like do, 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 and then I got to that last page and I was like, oh, okay, this is the origin.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like, but then like who took her? Like there's so many really great questions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, somebody on Reddit is saying a 30 issue run.
That
But that
does not sound right.
I was like, that does not sound correct. Okay, I'm going to continue in this. I'm still reading. It's a very small Reddit thread. They said that both Tom and Ilza had said this on previous podcasts, and the most recent one was with comic pop dude Sal. Who the fuck is comic pop dude Sal?
I have never heard of that person in my entire life.
So I don't know. That does seem like too many issues, to be frank. Right now, what I'm seeing solicited is through 13, which I know there will be more than 13, but
Yeah.
that's what we've got through March right now. I don't know. 30. I don't think you can continue this for 30.
No, that's way too many.
That's our own. So we'll figure that out. We'll not get back to you on it, but maybe we will. We'll go watch Tom King's interview with comic pop Sal.
Whoever that is.
Comic pop guy Sal. Okay, I'm having the worst time. Nobody cared about what I'm saying to you. But yeah, I really like Love Everlasting a lot.
It's
This diff
consistently good.
Yeah. Though if it does run 30 issues, I don't think I'll like it that long.
No, I think I'll do the end of this story arc and then I'll be good.
Okay, and then our last book. You ready? It's
Yes.
The Hunger in the Dusk. This is issue number 5. This is by G. Willow Wilson and Chris Wildgoose. This is about orcs and humans creating an alliance to fight. I can't remember what these guys are fucking called.
The
Vangles.
Bangles.
Vangles.
The super bad guys who at one point were orcs but are now, or wait, elves, right?
I think so. Maybe that sounds right. They
And
look
yeah,
like them.
they're just like rotten versions of them.
Yeah, this book is really, really good. A really, really great fantasy story. I love every character, like a lot. Like the main characters are perfect.
And it's really accessible too. Like it's not like a super high, hard to follow fantasy like The Last God was.
Yeah.
It is a very interesting, fantasy story, but it's just easy to get into and it's easy to follow.
Yeah, I think that was the thing for me is like it's super like approachable for sure for like a fantasy story where then the world is really well built out too, where you're really like, I don't know, I would not want this to end after like 6 issues. Like I want a bunch. I want like more. I don't think
There's
it could
so
end. Yeah, I was like, I don't think it could end after 6 issues, and if it did, it'd be like very unsatisfying.
Yeah, because like the one of the things that I like most about this is like there is a lot of lore within it, and they just kind of touch on it in a way that like you understand what's going on and stuff. So if like say this story arc ends, like their story ends, like there's again so much lore and there's so much more that we could get from it. So there's no reason it needs to end ever.
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 Yeah, no, I don't, because yeah, you can, there's more world. It's not like there's not like just these characters. Like,
Yeah.
there's so much.
Because even in this issue, you get like, I mean, it happened at the end of the last one, but like you get the twist with the Vangle of like they're actually able to like communicate and stuff like that. So it's like there's their whole backstory as well. It's like, yeah, there's so much that they can do with this world, and they did such a good job with like 5 issues building it the way that they have.
Yeah, and it's just like the art is so good. The art
So
is so good.
I love it.
Yeah, no, it's a book that I do look forward to. Like I do kind of savor it and like kind of leave it for last so I can
I do
get
that
as
too.
much out of it as possible because it is a book I like to like sit with. And I think this issue was like especially heartbreaking and frustrating. So it's just like one of those moments where you're just like, just stop being like this.
There's too much pride between these two groups, and like a marriage alliance needs communication, and that's not what they're getting.
Yeah, yeah. And
Understanding and trust.
yeah, and there's just so much going on, and it's also there's a war on, so
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
yeah. But highly suggest this book. I think the trade comes out fairly soon, maybe like March
Mhm.
or February. Could be lying, who knows?
Who knows? I haven't been paying attention, so check in with Champ.
And I'll be at the shop, so I'll have to look it up on my computer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. That's all we got. We're done. We're done with the day. So yeah, thanks for listening to us. If you are still listening, I know that you probably might not be, but you'll see a little notification and be like, what the fuck? Click
Yeah,
on
it's
it.
been a while, but I promise we're getting back into the swing of it. My baby does not need me as much anymore, unfortunately.
uh Mom stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for listening to us. Support your local libraries, support your friends, do good things, take care of each other.
Hmm.
Um, Heather, what do you got over there?
I actually don't have anything today.
Okay. So yeah, we will see you all on the flippity flip.
Later.